Make sure that you are well stacked. I'm going to start this practice with no weights, and in fact I might just use fists today, not even pick up weights, but you can use your hand weights all the way through, or you can pick them up halfway through in this first standing position. It's of course your choice. So just starting with an easy roll out of the shoulders. This can be just an invitation to breathe in and out and really connect to your breathing. Note your ability to connect the movement in the shoulders to that rounding and to the expansion. So it's lovely to isolate and to feel even one shoulder moving in the socket. So you get that really good full socket connection, but it's also good to let that movement create a wave-like ripple through your spine and into your pelvis. And even, you know, you might even start integrating the internal and external rotation of the arms. So something that starts off as a small action can then begin to be a little bit more moving. And of course, Eleanor will know this as I know it. The one thing that you really observe when you start running, jogging, or brisk walking, or walking for long distance, is the back tends to stiffen. And I personally share that with you because I think you probably know the same. So, you know, it's kind of like really important to have time after that long walk, brisk walk, hiking, to loosen off your spine. Cat-cow, of course, in all fours, or just to pay a little bit more attention to loosening before bed. So yeah, remember that. So let's come into some generous arm circles. Breathing in as the arm comes overhead, exhaling, release. Inhaling, arm overhead, exhale, release. And then consider the twist. So as you breathe in, lifting, as you exhale, turn, release. Same arm, inhale, lift. Look up if you wish, lengthen, exhale, release. I might do 3 of these, and then 3 into the other side. And that creates a rotation of the arm as well. That is a really lovely windmill action of your arms. And by the way, if you're wanting to remember this one, it works quite well at the wall. So if you have a handy wall nearby without any shelves on it, as your arm reaches up to beside you, your fingertips reach beside you, the palm is facing the wall. And then there's this movement rotation and the hand spirals as you come all the way around. And then, as I said again, you could look round and find that action. Okay, so that's just a reminder of how that sort of windmill of the arm at the wall is really lovely for the shoulders. You might find that you want to hold your weights, and if shoulders feel quite free, you want to maybe speed up, come into this. A little bit of a knee bend always works well. Just gives you that really lovely, energetic sense of stretch. And then the other way. And if you are knee bending, if you're moving down into knee bend, or even a deeper kind of chair pose or a squat position, do, of course, take care of your knees tracking forward. So now and again, you may well have to look down and just see that those knees track forward. And then once you've checked, obviously, come through, breathe, inhale, exhale, and make sure that you have that functional core. So you just have enough tone in your body to make sure that when you come into that knee bend, you're not collapsing and sort of dumping the belly forward and slumping forward. So please pick up weights if you wish, or make a small fist, thumbs tucking in or thumbs on the outside, And I'm going to offer you now 3 or 4 arm weight series, all about connecting to the back of the arm upper, which is the triceps inner and outer. So this is a combination, so standing tall, just bring the arms into those little L shapes, and they're quite narrow, and making this, as I say, or holding steady. So you're going to reach back, feel the squeeze of those upper arms. So that is the little bent elbow to lengthen. And, you know, you can just practice a few of these just to get into the rhythm of it. But if you're not holding weights, you might want to think about the idea that if you had 2 like bungee cords in front of you or strong ropes, you'd be pulling those ropes back all the way through, feeling the contraction, not pushing that head forward. So making sure you're in a good alignment, that the pelvis is level. Try not to flare and lift the ribs, and then you'd be drawing back. So that's the first easy movement. We're going to combine it with the press back and the front press. So again, it's a pulling, lengthening, and a pulling. Okay, so this is how it is. Breathing through. That's the first one. Second, and then lengthen, press, lengthen, press. So bend, lengthen, 1, 2, and then lengthen, press, lengthen, press, bend. 1, 2, lengthen. Now here, keeping everything narrow, squeezing through, and then as you come forward, if you wish to go all the way up to the sky, and notice and observe how that impacts on your practice, please do so. Remember, we've got 2 of the front raise into the arm press back. This is all narrow. And then we've got 2 of the bent knee, the bent elbow, the kick back as it's often known. Yeah? Going up, breathing in, exhaling all the way through. 2, so you get this connection. Please unlock those knees. As you unlock the knees, remember that they're not bent. They are just softening. And especially for those of us that tend to lock the knees as a matter of habit. And of course, when you unlock those knee joints, it might remind you to unlock the jaw as well. So keep going with that combination for as many repetitions as feels powerful, manageable, and toning and conditioning for you. And then just give yourself a little wiggle. Take both arms overhead if that's appropriate, but they can come in front of you if not. So try not to let the arms overhead distort your posture in any way. So remember, please, that if arms come overhead into full flexion, it's extension of the spine that might happen. So if in order to bring your arm overhead, you have to create more spinal extension, I would say please do that. You know that Pilates wants to keep that pelvis level, but that relies on a really strong flexion of the shoulder, a really moving and mobile shoulder joint. So if one thing has to compensate, it's not an incorrect compensation to find that you do need to create that spinal extension. But for my body, as you can see, I can lift into flexion and then I can extend, and then I can also level off and draw more energy into the core. Yes, it's a sweet reminder of that. So I'm going to bring both hands together, interlace, but you will be holding your weights for this. And then as you bend the elbows, squeeze them in tight around your ears if you can, or near the head and face, and then lengthen. Breathe, bend elbows, squeeze, lengthen. If your arms are here, then as you bend, you press. So it's almost, this is ring the bell. We sometimes call this ring the bell. Ding, bend, ding, bend, yeah? Now, even though I'm not holding weights, this is causing interesting energy on the arms and on the shoulders. If I bring the arms higher and really try to bring those clasped hands behind the body, that is also great for flexibility and mobility. You could even, if you prefer, press the palms together. With weights, it may be that because you are strong, you can take hold of a heavier weight and just use a single weight. So this is a 3 kilo. And you've got time. You've got time to adjust, to take hold of potentially, you know, that heavier weight. But if you're doing so, reconnect to that strong Pilates upright body. Squeeze. Try not to push that chin forward. Hug those elbows in. Lengthen and move. And then, you know, speed up if your function and form allows it. I'm not sure if you've already completed your 10, 12, 15, whatever you found. If you're holding the 2 weights, of course, you're going to hold them maybe together like this. You're not silly. You'll know how to do that. Okay, so let's go back. Oops, I've dropped that. Let's go back to the first one. So standing tall, small fists or your weights. And this time we're going to do 1. So it's going to be 1, lengthen, press back, bend, lengthen, lengthen, press. And to go faster, on the lengthening, I'm just going to bring the arms to the shoulder height. So it is arm press back, bend, squeeze, squeeze. Yeah, so lengthen, press, bend, press. Lengthen, arm press back, bend, press. Long, long, bend. To add a little bit more interest, turn your head. So lengthen, lengthen, turn head to the right, bend, squeeze. Lengthen, lengthen, turn head to the left, bend and squeeze. Look to the left, hold steady, squeeze, squeeze. Once you are now centered, rotate the palms towards the sky if you've got no weights. Open the thumbs away and pulse for 30. If you're holding weights, change your pulse to, I don't know, 20 maybe. So choose 15 or 20 or 30. Or maybe put your weights down and join me with the hands spreading out. If you have been holding hand weights, it's nice sometimes just to let them go carefully and then spread away. So pulsing those tiny moves, just make sure, group, that you don't end up letting those shoulders hunch or roll forward. So there is a pull back and a pulse back. Breathing well. Now, after you've taken control of your pulses, we're going to a separate pulse that's wider. And believe you me, these pulses will really start to capitalize on the original toning that you were giving to those muscles, especially the shoulders, the upper back, and the triceps, the upper part of your arm, the back part of the arm. Commonly, it can be quite weak in that area, so really enjoy this. So we're going out with a wide pulse, I should say. And then you're going to curl the wrist up and tap, 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 tap. And I would say here, this is really good without weights, yeah? But you stay with your weights if you wish. You could go in a little bit narrower. But personally, I find the wider arm tap works better. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then as you release, roll in and out. You're rolling in and out, could be low V, or you can let it slide out to the T. You can even move up a little bit if you prefer. And then let the arms come up. Take the right wrist with your left hand and just pull to length, either kind of towards the diagonal, that's quite interesting, helps the lat dorsi, broad back muscles open, or and to side bend. So top corner of the room and to side bend, and then take the left wrist, pull the arm, pull the skin, top corner of the room, stay rooted and strong through the feet, and then into the side bend. Breathe into that diagonal, breathe into your side bending, and then as the hands come down towards the hip points, a standing tilt and tilt. So actually there's the hands, I'm going to move mine out of the way for a moment. So rolling pelvis through its current range. Try not to bend the knees too much, so have longer legs. Even if it feels like there isn't much movement, see if you can find connection smoothly. So it is a rolling. In fact, I can even press the arms back there. Another little press back. Why not? Let's have a stretch through those arms at the same time. Rolling that pelvis, lengthening the lumbar, creating that tuck. Tucking is not the best word because it sometimes means you start to squeeze through that tailbone. We don't necessarily want that. So it's a lengthening through. It's a lifting of the frontal hips towards the nips, or it's like pulling the pelvis up towards the ribs and then lengthening away, giving that lovely length over your abdomen. Okay, please come to sitting. So when you come down to seated, first thing we're going to do is plant the feet. So literally bring the heels of your feet to align with the heels of the sit bones. Commonly, we support the body weight by sending the hands forward, but you could turn them outwards. But definitely please make sure that all of your toes and the knuckles and the forefoot are really connected, because so often people just lift and push through the heels, or they have one foot that is a little bit dominant or one foot that's a bit lazy. Roll the shoulders back, stand proud on your arms and just notice what happens. Sometimes the legs want to fall away, so look at the knees and thighs. And then as you lift the bum, even if it lifts 1 inch, you want to notice the strength at the feet. But first of all, it will feel very dominant on that shoulder line and on the arms and wrists. So take care. I'm on the blanket. You could have extra padding under the wrists. You could alter this one differently, moderating. But if you lift and you can lift higher, just gradually encourage that body weight lifting all the way through. You might want to look down the body. Please don't let that head fling and hold. Hold sort of sense of yourself there. What I mean by holding is not holding the head in a strange position, but certainly just don't let that head fling back. There's something else I see people do, and I find that quite alarming. So once you've lifted the bum and maybe tried to lift a few times, you can kiss and lift rapidly. I know that in yoga, we hold that position for a little duration, but we're in Pilates, so we're going to be dynamic with it. You, as I said, might feel you want to turn the hands outwards and even widen, and that might feel okay for a little hold moment. So explore. And if this is a lot for you, circle your wrists, shake them out, interlace. Just maybe choose a seated release instead. Otherwise, The other option I'd like to remind you of that also targets the triceps is bending the elbows and then pressing back. Bending the elbows, hugging them in at the back line and pressing to sit. Sit, inhale, exhale, bend, squeeze, inhale, exhale. Of course, this is a little aggravating on the wrist energy, in the wrist area, but it probably is a good ache tomorrow or later. So do please kind of discriminate about what that feels like for you. You know, in terms of a good ache, we don't want to harm the body. And then even stronger for some is to lift into the tabletop. I mean, try not to let the knees surge forward. So for me, I'd have to maybe move my feet a little bit, lengthen up. And then on the way back, you scoop the hips through and you are actually elevated. So you're sitting and the belly muscles are involved really strongly in that kind of almost sitting with the buttocks hovering. So it's an invitation to lift into body weight, open the front body, and on the exhale, you do then lift the tops of the feet, you stay hovering, and your legs might lengthen, and you scoop through the belly, and your buttocks are lifted. See how you feel, and most likely you'll need to let the wrists recover a little bit from that. So we're going to press the palms into the midline or hold the hands together in a soft clasp or pick up your weights. Your feet may have lifted or parts of the feet. And as you exhale, seated C-shaped curve, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right, resit. Inhale, exhale, left, right, and sit. Inhale, exhale, left, right, and resit. You can slow that down. Inhale, exhale, a small curve, and then turn left, squeeze and pause. Keep breathing, turn right, squeeze and activate, and then sit. And if necessary, you can let your legs release, especially if you get the grip in the hip flexors. But do make sure on the resit that you sit and observe good Pilates posture. So scoop through, hollow the belly, and turn left and right. And maybe you can turn left and right more times than 4. And resit. But remember, the long leg position sometimes encourages you to just lean back and kind of fling the head back. So do avoid that. Connect to your breath. Scoop into the C shape. Can you find any energy in the gluteals, in the posterior chain underneath you? And if your back is tender, just practice the midline. So just curling and then releasing back to center, okay? So there's quite a few options for you there this morning. And then what I'd love you to do is think about whether you can float a leg. So arms might come forward in a different position, shoulders down, curl off of those sit bones, float a leg, hold steady, scooch a little bit further away, maybe breathe and feel this. Maybe you can stay and float another leg. Maybe you can float, and come back. Yeah, I nearly lost my balance myself. So choose to, same thing with the twisting, to create some more movement from that powerful connected, controlled core connect, or to go inhale, exhale, float, and then come back, gracefully sit. Lovely to stretch the arms up open, exhale, curl and float. Coming back, inhale, lift. So everything we do in a Zoom Pilates can be more dynamic or less. If you're finding that that is easy for you today, and I hope it's relatively simple because you've been here for a long time, and I commend 100% your dedication, come down on the exhale and turn left and float the left leg. Center, breathe, curl, scoop, turn right and float the right leg. Scoop, squeeze, turn left and float the left leg. Center, squeeze, turn right and float the right leg. You get the idea. So soon enough you can add in the combo of both. Okay, after those explorations, could you please curl all the way down? Slowly, slowly, pause. Hold steady at your lowest place. All of these muscles unite and then let yourself go. Knees into chest, shake out the legs. Flex your heels. So point the toes, knees above hips. Try not to bring the knees above hips and have a big gap under the back. So we don't want this huge arch and we really don't want these flaring ribs. So connect through, strong strength coming around the midline, flex the feet. You can see your toes just above those knees without lifting the head. So your legs are not down here. So see those toes, let the thigh bones descend into that midline. Float your arms, palms face each other. Send your left heel away, and maybe it kisses, maybe it doesn't, but be truthful. This right knee stays exactly where it is, and at the same time, now lengthen your left arm away. So maybe the weight touches the mat or the thumb. The right fingers and the right toes are still towards the sky. Connect the shoulder blades, squeeze the gluteal, draw back. Okay, so we're going to inhale, left leg moves away from left arm, exhale, squeeze back. Squeeze, connect. Left leg moves away from left arm and pull back. Now if this is a struggle today, you'll put your right foot down. So there's more stability on that right side. But remember that you're coming back to the tabletop position. And I really believe that as you slow this down, it becomes much more interesting. So the heel and the thumb taps and you squeeze back. And if you've got long legs like me, it's quite a distance. And it challenges on that length. So really be honest, group. As that thumb comes down, even if you bend the elbow and the heel comes down, you might have to bring that heel close to your buttocks rather than sending it further away and then re-knit and reconnect into that corset tree. I would suggest 6 to 8 slow-mo, 10 if you've gone faster. Of course, you will then find your second side. So give yourself a hug and a rock. Flex those heels, knees above hips. Remember, this option is having left foot down. Right heel lengthens away first. Just feel what you can manage, because if you want to, you could just operate this exercise from the movement of the heel lengthening away. Remember, your eyes are to the sky. The only reason I'm turning is so I'm looking at you all and willing you to be perfect and precise with this one. So good. Right thumb lengthens away from the right heel, tap, hold, squeeze, and then exhale it back. Inhale away. Connect, exhale back. In and away, exhale back. lengthen away, exhale back. So the whole core is involved. It is literally not just the rectus abdominis. You've got the back muscles of the core, you've got the pelvic floor, because you're keeping these inner thighs strongly zipped, and you have your obliques. The side walls are also connected. So each time you draw back, surrender this anchor down, and then squeeze. So there's an inhale away and an exhale back. Now lift the head, neck and shoulders. I know that you can cradle, so if you want to cradle the head and you'd like to, walk up a little bit higher on those blades, point the toes, single leg extend rapid. So 1, 2 is a set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Arms up to the sky if you don't need to cradle. Arms away if you don't need to have the arms up to the sky. Much more challenging. Another set of 10 if you can. And maybe feet down, let your knees kiss together, take the feet wide. Possible little floor twist. Lift the buttocks, come back to your tabletop legs, circle the ankles, shake out the feet. Try not to have any tensioning in your calf muscles. You can have pointy feet, flexed feet, or just generally soft feet. Lift the head, neck and shoulders, arms lift away and then grounded through the shoulders. Now the opposite. So as my right leg points away, left arm, and then start to flow like this in the dead bug. So it's almost as if you're walking on the sky above you. This one is always quite rapid, so feel energized to join in with the rapid movement of the dead bug. Remember, you can also let the head rest, eyes to horizon. Keep the fingers and thumbs really wide and separated. Keep moving in a lovely rhythmical way. And then move into the twist, so curl up, keep going. And then when your left leg reaches away, join the hands, squeeze, twist. For 2, 3, lift, 4, 5, squeeze, swap, and twist. Reach the hands to the outer edge of that long extended right leg. Take the feet down, cradle the head, lay the elbows wide. Really use this opportunity to pause and let the head come quite heavy into the cradle of the palms. Back into your tabletop legs, curl up, crisscross. It is an elbow to knee, but for some practitioners, it kind of feels like that. And what I would say is that as you twist and move, you just really want to make sure that your movement is so fast that you've held your breath. And sometimes I think with Pilates crisscross, it's good to let go, rest, pause, and then maybe the second version, feet are on the mat with pelvis level. As you exhale, turn, lift and float. So the feet come down, turn, exhale, squeeze. It's right shoulder to left thigh, left shoulder to right thigh. And the clue here is actually really to try to curl and lift a little bit higher. So feeling that inner fire. And then roll onto your left hip and tuck your knees so that the knees are coming away from, at a right angle, your hip. So stacking your hip, stacking your knees, lay on your left side and re-cradle the head. And as you cradle the head, turn your gaze up towards the sky. Now your right elbow may not open to the floor, that's absolutely fine. Remember, we've got the knees tucked, the ankles and feet tucked. And then curl and lift. And as you curl, and just lift the head away, try not to pull on the neck. This is targeting those oblique muscles. It's the side wall of your abdomen. So it's quite a subtle, it's an upper chest lift. So if you can keep the elbows flared and just lift and lift. And imagine you had a plate of food on your face with hot gravy. You don't want to spill that gravy. And these are tiny moves. So if you can find 10 little tiny lifts, little tiny squeezes, and then roll onto your front, press the hands under the shoulders, buttocks move towards the heels. On the way back, so when you come into, sorry, my trousers have moved down, that's not pleasant. So when you come back to your all fours now, can you bring your palms together and the elbows out? Or can you bring your palms into like a diamond shape so the thumb and the fingers touch? So all fours, but then you press the hands together. You could bring your elbows down, or you have the forefinger and the thumb touching and your hips above the knees. And then press, breathe in, bend the elbows, exhale, press away. I would advise you not to sway forward and let your weight just push and drop over those fingernails. So try to bring your knees well aligned below the hips. Inhale, exhale, press. Now, if this is not kind of hitting the right spot for you today, what you can do, I've turned around, is come in to your Pilates plank and then let the knees come down. So can you see that there is a different energy? That is the sloping knees down plank. It's not the all fours. Then I'm going to make my triangle or diamond shape, and that might work better for some. You inhale, lower, you exhale, press. Even though my elbows are not rolling and squeezing into the rib cage, what I feel with having those knees further away from the shoulder line is that there's more energy of strength happening in those triceps again. So that is sometimes known as a narrow Pilates press up or a tricep press up. See how you feel, even if it's 6 or 8. And then we are finishing to come lying onto the side body, this time on the right hip, knees tucking, find your 90-degree angle, or the legs can come through a little bit differently. As you lay down, cradle the head, try and open out the left side. So that's a lovely little, beautiful stretch space for the chest and shoulders, and then squeeze and curl. I quite like to hear that kind of noisy out breath. So breathe in through the nose on the mat. Exhale, lift, squeeze. And these are kind of little pulses. They're small, they're an upper chest lift. You don't really want to pull your chin in towards the chest and drag your neck. You want to also lift and press the back of the skull into the cradled arms. 10 of these might be good. You may want to try a few more, and then It would be lovely to lay here for a moment and just open out a little bit more so you can get that left side of the armpit nice and spacious. I'm conscious of the time. Come back to all fours, please. Standing well on your table back. Circle the pelvis. Create a little rounding through the belly. You can send your right foot forward, lunge and come to standing from here, or curl the toes, lift the hips high, sort of a down dog pike. Walk into the feet and toes. Ragdoll, scoop and unravel. Roll out the shoulders. And as you come back to standing, open the palms. Breathe in, open wide, and exhale, bring the palms into the belly. Remember how well your core supports your posture. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.